Hi everyone. I'd like to begin by acknowledging we're on Ngunnawal country and we've been here for the last 3.5 days. 3.5? 2.5? I've lost track of time. And pay respects to Ngunnawal elders past, present and emerging. I loved the phrase that Uncle Ray used of kaleidoscopic bewilderment. And I think there's been certain times at this conference when I've felt overwhelmed, and not just at this conference, quite often, and often what I come back to is a sense of just the wonder and the mystery of life. And that's something that keeps me doing this work. Like, we could all be doing something where we're getting paid more and maybe not having to solve such complex problems. But the thing that keeps me coming back is like, wow, bloody hell, look at this. And I'm going to be dead one day, so that's an optimistic note, isn't it? So, and I also think like one of the gifts that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people bring to this country is that sense of belonging in nature and the wonder and the relationship, and if only we can really, more Australians can really appreciate that and get outside more. So I just wanted to share where I'm at this reflective moment. We're almost at the end of this conference. So, words to action. Conferences, they're quite strange beasts where we step away from our work and our life, and we have all these amazing conversations, and we want to avoid the thing of stepping back into work and going into the slipstream and forgetting it all. So we felt this a hunger among the organising committee, and that's been reflected back to us throughout, of making sure we capture some of what we've been hearing and talking about and try and translate that into some action, because we know we need to take action. It's really, it's urgent and it's necessary. So we wanted to intentionally keep this pretty simple. There's two ways that we're thinking about it. We want to spend some time reflecting on what we've heard, and then think about, what does that mean? What are the actions we want to take? What do we want to take forward from this? So we're going to do this in our groups where you are. If you're not at a table already and you'd feel comfortable to, we'd invite you to join a table. And we want to give you some open time to talk to reflect and share with the people at your table around these two questions. What really resonated with you over the last few days? Or what reinforced the views that you brought to the forum already? We also wanted to hear from you about what was uncomfortable, what challenged you, what was new. Hopefully there's a bit of both of those things. We're going to distribute some flip charts that Simon and Caleb are going to distribute. And perhaps, Jackie, could I enlist your help as well to distribute? We've also got some flip charts. I'll throw some pens out. And our goal is to capture some of what you write down and kind of summarise that after this conference is over. Post-its, yeah, people can use post-its. Why not? You might take some inspiration from Gavin. Use drawings, whatever your heart desires. So we'll spend a time thinking about this. For those who are online, feel free to use the Slido. I'll look at any comments that come up around these two questions. What really resonated and what was uncomfortable or challenging on you? So, go forth. All right, so we're going to now, we'd love to hear from a few tables. We'd love to know where the energy is to share. Interested if there are any tables where there was a lot of agreement or a lot of disagreement around, or different points of view around what was resonating or what was uncomfortable. Who's happy to share? Over here? Voluntelling someone else?
All right, so we had, in terms of what resonated, we had a few things. We had needs supersede wants. Issues need to be addressed, not concerns. And to make change, we need to access an opportunity at a critical time and then execute that opportunity. We need to influence. It's about power and then change. A few people spoke about better, not more. So Lorenzo's quote that I know a lot of people wrote down around optimization, not maximalization. Another thing that resonated was that we need business at the table. What made us feel uncomfortable is that that there's quite a bit of duplication, and we need to be harnessing and not recreating or duplicating, so more efforts around cohesion. We need to make the measures matter, so change practice, not just the measurement. There was a bit of discussion around how governments sometimes tend to deflect responsibility onto other governments because of the silos or other sort of departments. And that short-term incentives are powerful, unfortunately. I think, Craig.
Yeah, it was a strategy for 4 words that will change your life, which we're doing it here right now, okay? We are doing it here right now. We have got access to influence, to power, to provide change. To do that, we access that opportunity within critical timing, then execute the opportunity.
Boom. Theory of change. Would anyone else like to share? Just one burning point right here.
Maybe we could choose 1 or 2.
Yes, don't read the whole lot. Well, I can't read the writing, so that's not going to help. I'm Jodie Cooper. So a couple of conversations that we had. One was about growth and just being very discerning about what growth and why and for whom. That was a really great point that resonated with us. And the other, I guess, uncomfortable point was local government and where local government sits at the conversation. Is anybody local government? I'm just looking around the room. One.
Yeah, a handful.
Okay. And so I think that speaks volumes in terms of we're talking about well-being and we're talking about human beings. Local government probably should be in the room and represented wholeheartedly.
Thank you. I have a question. Who did anyone feel really uncomfortable about anything in the conference that is within the realm of being able to share? It's not so uncomfortable like, I'm not going to share that. Anyone challenged to the point? Yes. Let's do it.
I think one thing a few of us were uncomfortable about is the need for all of us at the conference, and this is probably something we can take to the next conference, doing the inner work on ourselves and bridging some of those divides between the cities and the regions, connecting up the local initiatives we heard about in, like 1 or 2 sessions with some of the macro systems change stuff that we heard, and actually understanding that that's like both are one in the same. You can't change systems just by thinking about it. You've got to actually go and start doing stuff on the ground. And just making sure like we're doing the inner work ourselves to connect and bridge some of those potentially arbitrary divides that exist sometimes within the conference. So, yeah.
Great, thank you. I'll pass to Julian and then I'll need to move us on.
I think anyone who's talked to me knows what I'm going to say, but I think it was a shame that there wasn't more focus on older Australians and how the wellbeing economy focuses on them specifically. I feel like they often don't have a voice. It wasn't listed as a major issue in the discussion yesterday, and I do feel that with the ageing population and the impact that that will have on our health systems, on our environment, on the need for infrastructure, on our new ways of thinking about health services, it needs to have more of a focus and conversation.
I'm gonna move us on in the interest of time because I want you to get to lunch on time. So, thanks everyone. So the next question was, thinking about what's next. What actions are you going to take coming out of this conference? And similar to the last question, we wanted to surface actions that are inside your comfort zone that feel very familiar, and actions that are outside your comfort zone that are not so familiar, that might feel uncomfortable to do, that might push you outside of what feels comfortable. I mean, yeah, I just like pasta. I like spaghetti bolognese. That's my comfort zone. I think the comment about you can look at plants and it's as good as seeing actual plants, I can look at that pasta and I feel really good inside. So hopefully that resonates, that's helpful for this exercise. Otherwise, that's fine. So yeah, more reflections. What do you want to do? Can tell the conversation's going well because it's really hard to bring you back. So we don't have time to hear everyone's reflections, but would love to just hear, particularly for people to share one thing that they want to do that is in their outside their comfort zone. Oh, there we go. Anyone happy to share something they're going to do that's outside their comfort zone? Over here. Thank you.
Pleasure. Lexi Randall-Strange, Castlemaine Institute. The thing that I chose for outside my comfort zone was using that settler colonial and racism language, even in situations where you either don't have a lot of power or you are aware that you will be potentially losing power by saying it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else over here?
Thanks, Jono. One thing I think that's probably in between inside and outside my comfort zone is just going to talk to my local MP to advocate for a Wellbeing of Future Generations Act and to talk about the work that's going on in advocating for a national conversation. And that's something I think we can all do.
Nice. Thank you. And then one more. Was it the same? Great. One more, then we'll break. Thanks, Shane.
I can beat you.
I'm going to have a crack at, this is a bit out of my comfort zone because I'm already overwhelmed by my to-do list. But this morning I read everybody's bio in here and I was telling my group here that I'm going to write everybody in this book a letter, an email actually. And I asked what we should put in the email, what the burning questions were, and so I'll just get you prepared now. What would you do if you were 10 times bolder? How long has it been since you were silent in nature? How can you take the people along for the journey? How much longer has our planet got to go? How do you know you're making progress? And are you coming to Stratford's Shakespeare Festival next year? So when you receive your email, I'll be expecting responses from everybody who's in this book. I'll be passing them over to the monitoring and evaluation team to wrap up. And I'd like to thank my colleagues here for coming up with the questions because I could only think of the Stratford Shakespeare Festival.
It's wonderful. Wonderful. And if anyone else who's not in the book wants to go to Stratford, just talk to Shane. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for that. Keep talking about all of this over lunch. I'm going to hand back to Simon, who's going to say a few words about the rest of the day.
Thank you, Jono. And fantastic energy at this point in the conference. Like we're always, oh, where's it going to be? Who's going to be here? But that was fantastic to be able to get some of those insights and also to capture some of the thoughts about what's next. I do want to reinforce that we were not gathering here to create a manifesto for how we all would work together. It was a conference to be able to connect and share ideas and learn and being able then to take that on individually and then within your own communities, organisations, businesses. So part of what we're going to do now is to take what's been captured on the tables and what we've heard and some of the notes we've got throughout the 3 days and make some sense of that as part of the write-up for the conference. So we'll have direction for what we have I'm going to use the word collectively committed to, but it's not, that point that came through a lot in the conference was around responsibility too. There won't be names against the actions, so you can take a breath with that. But it will still be noted and be very clear around the energy and what has been named as a part of the gathering. We are going to be breaking for lunch. Now, I appreciate that some people may be needing to run to the airport now. We will come back at 2 o'clock. We'll be able to close the conference together with some more reflections. But I do want to just take time before some people may leave, just to acknowledge the hard work of the steering committee and those all active in being able to run the session for these last 3 days. Thank you so much.